what's up, guys? Welcome to today's discussion. Josh here with Studio 4240. I got my partner on the other side, Robert, back there. One of the reasons why we want to have these discussions is because I think anybody here at this level, at this ground level, has so much potential for the future in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think the older I get, the longer I see the vision of financial freedom in the future. And I think with age and the timing of what's going on in the market right now is like that dot-com era that happened 20 years ago that so many people missed out. Robert and I talk about this all the time. Like, we missed out on our chance to become making wealth. I mean, that's what's potential here. And I got Jacob Howell here. And the first time I ran across you was when you put out that Facebook thing. It was about having Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Dogecoin, and Mercedes residents could possibly pay for their utilities with this. That's fascinating because I follow Miami and Florida a lot, and a lot of this stuff's going on over there with like their mayors taking Bitcoin as a payment. So I find this space fascinating, and I kind of just wanted to invite you on, to kind of educate us of what's going on here in the Rio Grande Valley specifically, but also give us a background of what you're about.
Yes, most definitely. First of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited. I know you guys, when you guys reached out, obviously you guys read that article, and I got a lot of positive feedback, believe it or not, from the different members of the community, different members of the I guess, innovative, progressive people from the Valley thanking me. And there was a lot of feedback. Obviously, there's always, that territory where, people are always afraid of the unknown, right? And that's totally understandable. But I think the key thing is, I think we have to be innovative and be able to embrace the future. That's always very critical, very important, because if not, it's like evolution. If we don't evolve, we die, or we just get left behind. And evolution throughout the history is critical. So just before we get into a little bit of the crypto and the situation there, or what we did there at the city of Mercedes, I'm a city commissioner, a proud city commissioner at the city of Mercedes. This is my first year, and I was elected by the people, by the proud people of Mercedes. And it's been a challenge, but the challenge has been fun. And I look forward to the challenge to try to bring back the Queen City. Mercedes was very prominent back in the day, and I look forward to help our citizens and our residents making Mercedes very prominent again and relevant back in the Valley and in the state of Texas. I'm also an educator in the community. I'm also a realtor. I'm an investment associate and a negotiating expert for a Coldwell Banker, RGV. So I do investment properties, commercial properties, and things of that nature. So believe it or not, going back to being the city commissioner, and you guys, reaching out, that article. Yeah, I used to live in Florida, obviously, and like you mentioned, in Miami and Florida, that area, crypto is paid a lot in different. It's like a form of money, obviously, and so it's nothing. It's, even though it's new, it's happening, and I did some research. I said, look, I'm a very innovative person. We're trying to progress and move our town forward. By the way, anybody that's interested, any entrepreneurs, anybody that's wanting to invest, look into Mercedes. Mercedes is a great city, and I always encourage people to go into Mercedes and make businesses and invest in Mercedes.
I completely agree, man. My father actually owns the Dairy Queen there in Mercedes, so I'm very familiar with the area. I mean, I grew up at Dairy Queen.
Hey, I love Dairy Queen. Who doesn't love a blizzard, right?
Exactly. The ice cream cakes are best, man. Let me
Yes.
ask you this, man. The people of Mercedes, I could feel like a lot of them like to live a simple life, less
Yes.
complicated. What pushback did you get from first of all, telling people about crypto, which already very few people understand, and
Right.
able to get them to like, adopt it or even think about it?
Right. So, um, the thing is, Mercedes, it's a very conservative town, right? But there is a push, and there is a business side of it. Obviously, we have the outlet malls. We have some small businesses, and we want them to strive. And of course, that our nickname was the Queen City, and one of my campaigns, I want to bring it back. I want to bring that rich heritage back, big economic boom to Mercedes. And as far as the city commissioner, even though I don't have a horse in the race, I'm a city commissioner. I do things right and stuff. I don't. But what I'm saying is, I always invite people to Mercedes and people to invest in our town. And the pushback, there wasn't too much pushback. There was a little people freaking out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, what is this? And as I told and I explained to people, look, back in the day, believe it or not, paper money was innovative. They had to go away from the coin, from the gold system,
Mhm.
and they went into a paper system. And back in the day, and I took some notes, when Theodore Roosevelt, back in 1933, when he wanted to go away from the gold standard, they thought he was crazy. They told, hey, President, you're going to drive this country into chaos. Literally, that was a quote. You're going to drive this country into chaos. What do you mean? We got to go away from the gold standard. So he limited the gold, and they started to print more money. Obviously, when they printed more money, that helped the recovery process to get us out of the Great Depression. And so, like I said, back in the day, paper money was innovative. If you think about it, what do you got in your wallet right now?
Cards.
Plastic card. Think about it. On an electric strip on your card, that's information. You have money that's attached to plastic, that's electronically, you can able to pay items. Yeah. Same thing with your phone. You got Apple Pay, you can pay through your phone. So we got to embrace these things. I understand there's, some people freak out with it. I think it's just a matter of understanding and explaining. And it doesn't have to be a total takeover. But what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with having an alternative. And when I brought this potential, that we're still doing the research, and I think eventually my goal is to get it done, is just to give people an alternative to pay their bills. Fees are high, and this is a way to eliminate a lot of the fees. Now, realistically, is a lot of people in the Valley, or I would say even the city of Mercedes, going to pay or have is there going to be a big old crypto base? No, but this is a step into being innovative. This is a way of stepping into the future. And this is a way of also giving people an alternative for payment methods. There's nothing wrong. Just like you can pay with a check, you can pay with credit card. Hey, now you can pay with, like, let's say BitPay. It's 1%. They charge 1% off of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I just feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you feel like sometimes the Valley's behind a few years, and then they catch up. How many cities here in the Valley are actually talking about crypto in their
community? So believe it or not, I'm supposed to have a newspaper. I'm trying to remember the name of the magazine. At some point, they're supposed to call me and set something up. But in the Valley, when we mention that, I mean, like I said, I got phone calls. People got like crazy, like historic, like what's going on? What? But there was some people, like I said, that were like, wow, Mercedes, congratulations. You guys talked about what maybe other cities in the valley were afraid to maybe throw out there. And I can see later down the road, other cities talking about this and putting that on your agenda for potentially payments being made. Now, I think it was a big step for the city of Mercedes to do that. Obviously, it's being researched before anything can be done. Sure, it has to be researched, but I think the alternatives and what it brings, the benefits would be increasing, obviously, an alternative, a way of payment. It would be better servicing the community. It would have lower payment processing fees. And it would also eliminate the much hated chargeback fees that eat away, literally eat away at hard cash. So there is some positives. And I think the main thing would just be reducing, one, being an alternative, and two, being a way to kind of eliminate some of those fees from people, or reducing those fees. So there was a lot of praise from different leaders, and there was some that say, you know what, you guys in Mercedes, we see a big change. We see that you guys are starting to be more a progressive city, a more in trying to embrace the future and embrace and try to bring businesses into Mercedes. And we applaud you for that, guys. And that's actually what we're trying to do. And when people and other leaders from the community and throughout the valley see that, that's, to me, that's a pat on the back, not only for us city leaders, but for the community, because that's what we want. We just want to try to bring the best for what we can do for our city. And that's embracing the future.
How would you're gonna unmute you? Yeah, you can actually hold on. You have a question? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we would actually be the first city in the state of Texas to when we go that route, we would be the first city in Texas to accept crypto.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's what I love about this space. And I feel like if people are buying up Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're not really getting rid of it right now. Would Mercedes have like their own token, or how would that work? I guess.
Well, I'm totally for having a Queen City token or a Tiger token.
That would be awesome.
If we can create it, hey, no problem. But like I said, a system that would pay or would accept payments, let's say like BitPay.
Mm-hmm.
All and the way I explained it was, look, somebody would come in, say, look, I'm gonna pay with Dogecoin, I'm gonna pay with Litecoin, Bitcoin, whatever, and they would obviously give their phone or their certain card of that virtual wallet. They would pay, and the system would automatically just transfer that back into money if we wanted to, and put it, or the city could also maybe save some of that, put some in, and maybe potentially maybe even invest, keep some in like let's say a Bitcoin, a city wallet or something like that. Obviously there would be some regulations and stuff. I mean, now we're talking about like a total different
a beast, it becomes a self-funding monster at that.
Right. But see that, and that's the thing, there's potential there on both sides. Yeah. But that would be a total different animal. But like I said, it would be nothing different than, I would say this: if someone has a watch, let's say a Rolex, it's all about the value, right? And someone can go to a pawn shop or someone wants to buy it. You can trade that watch for cash. Same thing with your car. You can get your car, you can trade it in, you can sell it, and you get cash. It's the same thing with crypto. It is a virtual money. It all comes down to value. The importance of people placing on that median, that's what the value is. And so there is no difference from a car, from a watch, or from crypto. And so from a credit card, it all depends on the value. Think about paper money. Literally, paper money has value. And it's actually an IOU, right? So you're telling me that paper money, it's literally paper from a tree. This is like $20. I don't know where this came from. I normally don't have $20. It should have been a one, but I need to get gas here in a bit.
Probably worth that much right now, man.
Yeah. And so, to make a long story short, it all comes down to the value of what that item is worth. And so same thing with cryptocurrency. I just feel it's just an alternative. If we can see it and embrace it as an alternative payment, I think people can step back and say, okay, they won't freak out as much. And people like yourself and others that are educating the community and educating people are doing a great job in kind of giving the information out there, because misinformation is always bad information.
Right. Let me ask you this, like when you have your crypto conversations, and I have these conversations quite often, how do you speak to them at a level that they'll understand? Because I'll admit it, like when I talk about it, it kind of just goes over people's head. I don't know how to bridge that gap where I want to become a spokesperson for it, but also I don't want to sound like I'm too far in it that I jive with the right energy of the people.
Yeah. So believe it or not, when I got into crypto, I did not get into it from a financial advisor or from a banker. You're not going to believe it. So my 18-year-old son that's in college right now is the one that got me into the crypto, into Robinhood. Obviously, I had a little account on Coinbase, but he actually got me into that GameStop, and we did okay. We did good, and then it got things took off from there. But we started going to a little bit more of the crypto and stuff like that. So you got 18, 17-year-old kids, literally, that are investing in crypto. I mean, it's just so easy. I mean, you got Robinhood, you got Coinbase. I mean, eBull. I mean, it's crazy that times have changed. That 17, 18-year-old kids, young men, are in this game, and so the roof and the ceiling is like, who knows what can happen. I mean, literally, this is an age of potential new millionaires and billionaires. And I think reading some certain articles and seeing the internet, some people have been successful. I mean, they've had a good little run, and all of a sudden, overnight. Now, the problem, there is a danger, because people want that quick fix. And we got to be careful with that, because people want to be that overnight millionaire. And I think being educated, but also I understand you got to be careful, and because you make the wrong move, you can lose all your money. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, you can lose very bad. And I'm sure people have lost. So when I talk about crypto to people, it is say, look, it's a currency that exists digitally, it's virtually, and it uses cryptograph, and it's basically, it secures transactions. Just think of it as digital money. Yeah. And it's not centralized like a bank, for instance, but it uses people. Right. It exactly. It's a people's money, and it uses decentralized a system that records that transaction. And so there's positives and there's negatives, just like anything else. Just like anything else.
Before I ask you the next question, let me ask somebody else if they have any input or want to ask you a question.
Hey guys, I have a question.
Go for it.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Moses.
Jacob, yes. Hi, my name is Moises.
Hey, Moses.
So, I know you guys are talking about decentralized and crypto and everything, right? But
right.
So, as a city commissioner, do you think one of the concerns, or I mean, maybe you could answer me this question?
Sure.
So, funding.
You're going out a little bit, Moises.
Yeah, you're going out a little bit, Moises.
He might have been disconnecting from his Wi-Fi. Technology, man. There you go. Can you repeat that, Moises?
Yeah, repeat it, Moises.
Okay. So, since you guys are talking about decentralized and crypto and stuff, right? How are we going to continue getting funding for infrastructure, roads, things like that? If we continue going in this route of being decentralized.
Right. So, and that's an excellent question. Infrastructure, obviously. Are you from Mercedes? Because that's
no.
Huge. So Mercedes has we've had some bad flooding. We've had some bad infrastructure. And one of our key things that we're working on right now is improving our infrastructure and flooding situations. And that's what we have been doing, and we will continue to do that. Now, on that topic, as far as the funding, obviously, money, people get confused. Money, yes, it is public, but it's also funded privately as well. And so, again, jumping into crypto, let's say for the banks, or I would say the government pushing this out, they're already cracking down and regulating some of the things, if you've noticed. So I want to say that some type of hybrid at some point is going to be made, because I think crypto is not going to go anywhere. It's here to stay. Yep. And so somehow, like I said, even their tax return, if you did crypto trading and all this, all of a sudden now you got to check your IRS, you got to do this and that, when back then you used to not be able to. So the government is coming down. So they're starting to like regulate a little bit now. And so what's going to happen is, and what's going to need to happen, I think, and what's going to take place is going to be a hybrid. There's going to be a little bit of centralization involved and a little bit of private entities involved. But I don't see the government going full blown paying cities through crypto or anything. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Because this was kind of like, and not anti-government, I don't want to say that, but this was just an alternative form of payment. And just like back in the day, having so much gold was illegal. And they went with printing money. Now, like I said, now it's just an alternative. It's just an alternative way of forming money. But we can't be printing money too much. This year alone, we printed out 33% more money than any other year. Obviously, the COVID, people were unemployed. We had to help. And it was almost like a little mini recession that we were trying to avoid. But if we keep printing money like crazy, we're going to go into another recession. And that's something that we have to totally be aware of and be on top of. So having alternative forms of money, different ways to pay for stuff, different forms of income, I think those are always good, Moises. But yeah, that was a great point.
Yeah, so it's mainly to pay for utility bills, things like that, right?
Yes.
Because like for me, what I'm thinking about is how are schools going to get funding? So pretty much the city gets funded by property taxes, right?
Yes.
And then from there they utilize it for infrastructure or different things, right?
Yes.
So if we continue going that route, but I guess like what you're saying is going to have to be a hybrid, right? So people are still going to pay those property taxes. The city's still going to get funding. But you're saying it's mainly going to be for utility bills and things like that, right?
Right. So right now, again, we're just researching it. At some point, I think, I'm hoping, my goal is to help. My vision is to make it happen, and be the first city in the state of Texas, if not the one of the first, and the first in the valley to accept cryptocurrencies for an alternative payment to pay your bills. So we're not going to be, let's say, accepting it from the government as far as to provide for services, but we're going to accept it as payment. And all of it is like this. It's like if you have kids, right, Moises?
Yeah.
Looks like you had somebody in the back where I got my, my kids. When I take my son and daughter to Chuck E. Cheese, I put my dollar in. What do they give me? They give me a Chuck E. Cheese coin. And so all you would do is you're just changing your coin. Think of it like now you're reversing it. So now you're giving your Chuck E. Cheese coin back, and you're getting your dollar back. So you're giving your 4 Chuck E. Cheese coins, and you're getting your dollar back. And so that dollar goes back to pay the bill, the light bill or water bill or whatever. And so that Doge coin, that light coin, whatever, you're charging it, and all the city's going to do is flip it around, turn that into either a cash or payment that they accept, and it goes into their account to pay the bill in your name. So I think it can be easily done. Obviously, there's a system already that does that, Bitcoin, and there's a 1% charge. 1% charge. That's crazy. Some of these cities, I know they do it, and the fees unfortunately are high. And so we could eliminate some of that and help the people, help you save money, help the city and make the cities more efficient. That's great.
Hey, Jacob, let me ask you this. A few people in this meeting, we're investors in the metaverse and in crypto, obviously. You said you have an 18-year-old son that's investing in crypto. Can you kind of run me through the mindset of what an 18 or 19-year-old kid is doing, investing in crypto, and how can businesses in the future be able to capitalize off of that? I guess the youth of so be the next people that are going to be spending money in the economy.
So these kids nowadays, these young adults, these young adolescents, I mean the times have changed. I mean, you have so many bright kids nowadays. I mean, think about it. When I was 18, 17 years old, and you might have been there with me too, is we weren't thinking about investing any money.
Nope.
We weren't thinking about any money. We were thinking about blowing money. We were going to the mall, literally blowing money.
Yeah.
And so nowadays, these kids, these future leaders, right? The mindset of some of these kids, they're saving money now. They're investing money. Literally, they're thinking, okay, their mindset is, hey, I want to try to be the next Bill Gates. Hey, I want to be the next, so-and-so. And so you have so much creators, authors, content guys. Literally the world is in their fingertips. Mm-hmm. I'm an educator, and I tell these kids, make sure you get yourself an education. Stop skipping school. Let's focus, because the world is in your fingertips. You have so many opportunities for you guys. Literally, you can right now, you go to Instagram, you go on Facebook, you have the audience, you have the world in your fingertips. People are listening, but at the same time, they're also, us as people, we're receptive to information. I know back in the day, I would go to the library, and the few times that I did go to the library, and I jumped on the information superhighway.
Internet.
the information superhighway, and the kids tell me, what the hell was that, sir? I said, the internet. And it was, and you remember the old AOL chats and it was crazy. So the mindset of some of these kids they're thinking, they're business minded. They're thinking of the future. They're thinking innovative. And I think the future is in good hands with some of these kids, with some of these kids, because like I said, at our age, think of it. We weren't thinking about that. We weren't thinking about investing, saving money. These kids are literally saving money, investing money. They're creating things. They're selling stuff on Amazon. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that the opportunities that are out there for these young men and women.
I think a lot of it started with Robinhood. They just made it so easy to invest, and then people started making money. I think it was the right time at the right place for all those people that got in it. All of them made money, and they're like, "Oh shit! Like I can do this!" Like everybody was given free money.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, on the Robinhood, it's just it's so easy that it's a danger that it could also. It's too easy. It's too easy sometimes that you can, like I said, there is dangers because you can lose money very quick because it's too easy. I mean, real quick, it's like you can draft money right out of your account, and you can get accredited. And if you don't have backing, by the time they do that withdrawal, hey, you can be in the red real quick. So education is important. It's critical. It's good to but at the same time, look, with $100, $50, you can invest $50, $20 nowadays. And that $50, $20 can literally turn around and make you what would take a normal person a year, 2, maybe 3 years of interest to get some type of profit. And I had money back if back in the day here, and I mean, I still do, but in the money market, in the banks. For years, I had money in the money market. And what I saw through the years, in literally an hour, a week, maybe a couple of months, what it took me years to make in a small amount of profit through money market, as far as interest profit, you could make that so quick nowadays just by diversifying your portfolio through your crypto, through investments. And it's crazy. And then back in the day, you used to have to sit down with a banker and where do you want to invest in this? Nowadays, you open an app, boom, boom, you can invest in McDonald's, Starbucks, Ford. You want a Exxon, you want a Tesla. I mean, you can own pieces of company at your fingertips, and literally in minutes and seconds.
We have a comment in the comment section by Oscar. It says the education system also needs to revamp in financial literacy.
Oh, yes. And I think, to be honest with you, Oscar, that is a great point. I feel as an educator, there is not enough of that right now. And I think right now it's critical because it's so easy to invest, and kids are already starting to invest. And you look at the Super Bowl. I mean, that big old ad, right? I mean, you look at all the crypto commercials. So it's out there. Investing is out there. The E-Trade, and so we don't want to get caught in some of these companies. The marketing is selling the dream, but we have to be cautious in how we buy into that dream, because education is critical. We have to teach kids that there's always that cause and effect, that checks and balances. You spend, how to spend, what to spend. And I used to run and be in charge of the pop-up program. And that was fathers or kids that were going to be fathers. And one of the things I used to tell the kids was we used to go over, money. Because when you're 17, 16 years old, believe it or not, 15-year-old kids that were, going to be fathers, I said, look, now you got to think, are you going to buy Jordans? Or are you going to have to save up and buy Pampers and milk? And believe it or not, some kids, well, the Jordan, but no, son, but now you're going to have responsibilities. Things are going to change. And okay, you know what? You're right, sir. And so the mentality has changed. You got to save up now for certain things. And so same thing with these kids is we got to teach them about spending, about credit cards, because it's so easy to get credit cards nowadays. And all of a sudden you get let's say for a kid, $1,000, $1,200 limit, he'll go blow it in 2 hours, 1 hour, and not know the consequences. So having those education finance classes, which I would teach after school for the ACE program, believe it or not, in investments during the pandemic are huge. And I think the school system don't have enough of that. We need to teach kids like life finances, how to buy a car, how to apply for a loan through the college, and interest rate. What is an interest rate? Because nowadays, not everything is free, and we got to be cautious when about interest rates and what's a good rate and what's not. So education, and I can't stress enough, it goes hand in hand with all of this. And what you're doing here on this podcast with other educators and other people, other creators as well, and other financial advisors and people do, y'all do, it's an important job to educate the public and educate the people in the community.
You're right, because I find through education and information, like I would love to be able to share everything that we do and have them just click a button. But this space is so diverse, it's not user friendly at all. But being able to bridge that gap, like this is what's out there, this is what's coming, these are the people in it right here in the Rio Grande Valley. So when it does become as easy as clicking a button, they'll remember the people that were helping them along the way. I think that's what happens, is finding those trusted advisors or trusted people that you can talk to about this stuff without them thinking that you're crazy, I think is an important step of what we're trying to achieve here.
Oh yeah, people, when I threw that comment out there on the crypto, like I said, some people freaked out. Some people thought I was nuts, and some people thought, hey, this guy's a genius. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. But we're trying to be more progressive. People saw, look, this guy's innovative, progressive. He's trying to bring businesses to Mercedes. He's trying to bring technology to Mercedes, a different thinking to Mercedes. And that's what I'm trying to do. And these are just, like I said, we can't be afraid of the future. We have to embrace the future and look forward to the future and push the future. I'm the type of guy that I don't like ceilings. If we got to break the ceilings, because those ceilings are what holds us back, not only as individuals, as a human beings, but just in general, ceilings are meant to be broken in any form, in any category. Records is like they say, records are meant to be broken, and you got to reach for the top. I mean, think about it. Who would have thought, Elon Musk would have had a rocket station out in Brownsville, Texas, the Starbase, which, by the way, that was another article in Channel 4 News when I wrote letters to Elon Musk. And people were like, this guy is crazy. He's trying to launch rockets out of Mercedes. I invited Elon Musk to Mercedes. There was some land by the outlet. I'm like, Elon Musk, make a Tesla here in Mercedes. And there's some land here. And if you want to make Starbase here in Mercedes, we welcome you. So people think I'm nuts. But hey, look, I'm about pushing Mercedes. I'm about pushing the Valley and the region forward. Elon Musk gives money to the Brownsville area, to the school district, and the guy's done a great job, and he's forward thinking. And I think you need some of those I guess, outlaws, right? You need some of those trailblazers. And I would consider myself one of those trailblazers right now as a young, well, I would say young, but I'm actually old, younger looking, but trailblazers. And we should have had this podcast in their Mercedes at Dairy Queen, promote
that would have been
businesses
cool,
in
man.
Mercedes. had a blizzard, and promote the city and crypto and technology.
Absolutely. Well, if does anybody else have any questions? No. So what are you investing in right now?
Well, obviously, I'm not gonna lie. So if you were investing, you kind of felt the wrath of the crypto winter coming again.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I didn't sell, I didn't panic. I mean, I panicked a little, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna hold the fort. This time, a few weeks ago, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm an honest guy. I sold a little bit of I had a Ethereum Classic. I don't know how in the world and hell I got into it because it was doing well. Not Ethereum, I have that, the Ether, but this was a Ethereum Classic, right? And it's like the original. Well, it went down, I sold, and I said, you know what? I bought back in. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna panic. Same thing with Ethereum. It went down and I bought on the dip. So I got a little bit. I have a little bit of Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin. I kind of like to diversify a little bit. And that's what's, again, going back to education, you want to diversify your portfolio a little bit. But I focus on some key ones. I know some guys jumped on Cardano early.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys jumped on when Dogecoin early, so right now I have a good little average, but again, because of the instability of what's going on right now in Russia and Ukraine, we're looking at probably a little slump, but I think eventually what I've noticed throughout these past couple of years is that it fluctuates, but every single time, and I'll tell you this by my honest truth, every single time there's those low dips and those crypto winters, that sucker always bounces back. Yep. Somehow, some way, it comes back to life. And that's when I realized, I said, you know what? This thing's here to stay. And it's not for everybody. Don't get me wrong. You got to have nerves, ice cold veins on some of these. But there's some that you can just be smart about. Like I said, you can invest 500, 1,000 if you get it a good average, but it doesn't have to be just crypto. I mean, it could be, other investments. But there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm going to put in $100 of Dogecoin. I don't know what it's at right now. I'm using my phone, obviously, to do this Zoom, because I'm going to jump into another meeting here in a bit. But I would check it on Robinhood, but I want to say, what is it at right now? 14 cents?
Check. I actually sold it a while back, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
yeah, but it always kind of comes back a little bit.
Yeah, it always does, especially like right now that the America's in turmoil and everybody's at war. The economy is tanking, and this is the time where people are going to make like millions of dollars. The wealth is going to change hands very fast with what's going on right now.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
really
obviously,
excited about.
Stuff's going to be on a dip, and if you didn't invest the first time, I mean, you can catch this wave again, right? And again, if you can do it smartly, you don't have to do it Bitcoin is probably going to go under 30. 35. I can see that happening.
I heard it could get into the 20s, man.
Yeah. And so at that point, there's going to be some tough decisions. Some people might say, you know what? Because I can see it jumping. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor as far as that. I mean, obviously I do real estate negotiating and investment properties. But I don't want to say, well, that guy told me, but I would
never
say
take
this.
investment advice from anybody here.
Yeah, don't take investment advice from anybody. But my opinion, because even some of those experts, believe it or not, I've sat down with some of these experts, and sometimes like, I don't know. So it all depends, right? I mean, everybody has their own opinions, but my opinion is there's gonna be opportunity again for some people. There's gonna be some opportunity for people, because you think of it, if you get it at 15, 20,000, and the predictions here about 2 weeks ago are saying that at one point they're thinking it's gonna go to maybe 100,000. Can you imagine that profit? So I think there's gonna be some people buying here and there on the dip. But I have a feeling that some people are going to go all in. Some people, obviously, they got the money and they can afford, right? They can afford to take these chances. There's risk, because without some of these risks, there's no reward, right? Exactly. But you got to be smart about it as well. Not all of us have 100,000, 50,000 just sitting there, right? So your average person is blue collar. We work hard, even white collar, we work hard, and your money has to last. You got to extend your money, your hard work, a dollar. Yeah. But there's going to be opportunity there, I think, and I can foresee some kids or some adults too becoming millionaires here soon again.
Absolutely. Well, Jacob, I'd like to thank you for your time. If anybody else has any questions, please ask right now. If not, Jacob, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for your insight, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you guys, what you guys are doing. I appreciate you guys having me here on the little podcast, and we got to do it again. Hopefully there at Dairy Queen in Mercedes.
Absolutely.
Visit Mercedes, visit our outlet, shop Mercedes. God bless everybody that's listening. Thank you so much.
I'll see you. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much, guys.
See y'all later.